So I have legs. This is rotation A. It's not too different to my other session. Just a couple of different pieces of equipment. The actual setup is pretty similar. Basically all focused around the glutes and hamstrings, and a little bit of sprinkling of quads. So that's pretty much what the session is going to be. I'll go through it as I go. I'm sorry if I've got a lisp, I've got my new retainer in to try and protect my teeth. So first exercise is seated leg curl. We use the prime for both sessions, but we actually use different resistance profiles for them. So on this one, we're doing setting 1, setting 5, setting 3, which basically means we're doing the mid-range, mid to lengthened, and then lengthened. On the other session, we just do mid to lengthened twice, and then lengthened. That's definitely the harder setting, because there isn't a lot of machines that you can actually work in that lengthened range when it comes to a leg extension. Hopefully that makes sense to all the people that like stuff like that. I just don't fucking care. I'll just go and do my leg kills anywhere. Anyway, yeah, trying to make sure that I have a nice solid pause in the stretch and squeeze to make sure that we keep the tempo really great, and making sure that we're using full range of motion. I watched my set back from my last session. I was being a bit rushed, so definitely need to pull back my weight a little bit. Leg extension. Here what I'm trying to do is think about keeping my hips locked tight into the bench. If your hips are rocking kind of backwards and forwards, yes, you'll still use your quads, but the amount of tension that stays in your quads is a little bit less. So basically, don't use any momentum. Focus on keeping your hips nice and locked in, really focusing on full extension, and then full stretch, making sure that you do have a nice solid pause in the top and the bottom, and you'll keep everything in your quads. Next exercise is leg press. On my other session, I have it on the Nitrum. On this session, I have it on the Cybex. Obviously, this one's a lot lighter than the Nitrum, so it's a little bit easier to be able to load. Probably it gives you that little bit of feel-good factor, which we all need sometimes. But I can definitely get a little bit deeper on this one, just because that's how it's set up to be. It's a squat press. So yeah, last session I got 6 reps and 10 reps, not 6 sets, 6 plates and 10 reps. I'm going to try and get more reps this time because my rep range is 10 to 15. So instead of taking the load up because I've reached my rep range, haven't quite got near to the top of my rep range. So I'm going to take that same weight again and aim to try and get closer and closer to 15 before I take that next load progression. The kind of mistake that I've made in the past is feeling really good after a competition and just kind of loading and not getting to the end of that kind of rep range that I do have set out for me, meaning that then at some point very near into the future I hit a really big block and then have to reset. So I'm trying to take my time. With that, I'll take the same load on all movements, making sure that the reps stay tidy, but really working up to the top of that rep range before I take that progression. I say that to all of my clients, so it's time for me to start doing that. Right, next movement is the glute variety, which is a glute drive. I have hip thrusts in every single lower body session. How exciting. Obviously I do legs now on pull, so I do lower body, glutes, hams, adductors prior to doing my back movements. I don't really need to get a lot more back. I do need to get quite a bit more glute so that they can be lovely and lean, and so that the rest of my body can also still look fantastic when they are lovely and lean. So they obviously take focus. In this session, so my leg session, I do a variety of hamstrings, glutes and quads. Next exercise, walking lunges. I'm not really trying to bias anything. I'm not trying to bias my quad, not trying to bias my glute. Basically just doing a walking lunge and putting my foot wherever I feel strongest. I am trying to keep my hips tucked at the bottom, because if your hips curl back, you take a lot of pounding into your lower back and a lot less through your actual legs. So I get a bit more glute that way, a little bit more tension into the entirety of my leg, and make sure that my tummy stays nice and tight so that I can be aggressive on the way up. So on the way down, aggressive on the way up. Four. Last exercise is the lying leg curl. I'm using the setting 3. I was just checking that I had it on setting 3. Just because it's my last exercise, really want to challenge my hamstrings in that stretched range to finish off my session strong. I got some nice little leg progressions there. I'm actually quite shocked. I'm going to do some calves, but they're boring, so I'm not going to talk about them. Basically just progress them, train them regularly, and you'll get some decent calves. End of leg session. Very happy with where progress was in the session. Really happy with how performance was. Felt really good in there, which was fantastic. And I'm excited to continue building progression from there on sets, reps, maybe even adding a little bit more volume into that at some point, but we'll just see how we go. If progression's building, then that's all that matters. But hopefully you enjoyed the leg session. Please like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you again for another one.